innovation from Molfix just for your baby. Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
New Blue Band mayonnaise. Made from natural ingredients with omega-3 and 6 to enjoy long-lasting freshness and natural taste unlike any other mayo. Grow healthy and happy kids with New Blue Band mayonnaise.
Devki Steel Mills have provided quality building materials with the widest range of associated steel products over the last 3 decades. Look for the Devki mark on a widest selling reinforcement, twisted and TMT rebars, which are KBS certified and have the diamond mark of quality. Devki Steel, Kenya's most trusted steel company.
Looking really good.
Tangu nianze kutumia Pika cooking oil, hata kabla sijaandaa chakula, kila mtu ataka kuonja. Nikuongeze zingine.
Hi everyone, welcome to the ITEL online launch. My name is MC Jesse.
And we'd like to tell you more about the ITEL brand. New ITEL.
STT series, 6.3 dot notch screen, AI selfie 2.0, gallery door, 2GB data bundle.
ITEL TV, the earbuds, IFP 11 super slim power, the extension strip.
Let's join ITEL to enjoy a better life.
This is NTV.
Hujambo mtazamaji popote ulipo, saa 1 kamili saa za Afrika Mashariki. Tumekuandalia mengi ikiwemo hisia tofauti zimeweza kutolewa na wanasheria humu nchini. Hata vikao vya bunge vinaendelea kwa sasa kutoa hisia tofauti ya makauli tofauti kuhusiana na swala zima la Jaji Mkuu David Maraga kumtaka Rais Uhuru Kenyatta kuvunjilia mbali bunge. Tumekuandalia mengi, lakini kwa sasa tupate vidokezo.
Yajayo katika NTV jioni.
On the request of the Speaker of the two Houses of Parliament, has resolved to engage Council to immediately proceed to the High Court.
Bunge kuelekea kotini kupinga ushauri wa Maraga kwa rais, huku wanasheria wakitofautiana kuhusu ushauri huo.
I will answer you.
Walimu kusimamia ratiba masomo na usafi wiki ijayo kama sehemu ya maandalizi ya ufunguzi wa shule.
The men in white, all dressed in white, taking over the burial and leaving out the family members.
Sasa familia zitapewa kipaumbele katika mazishi ya wapendwa wao, kinyume na kipindi ambapo corona ilikuwa imechacha.
Bona tuwasikie wewe ni mjana anakuja kwako kila siku.
Wakazi wa Kapkoi huko Eldoret watishia kumwadhibu naibu chifu anayedaiwa kuandama wajane endapo hataondolewa.
Mbashara kutoka jumba la Nation. Hii ni NTV Jioni na Kaltun Jama.
Karibu mtazamaji popote ulipo, mkalimani wetu wa lugha ya ishara jioni hii ni Flora Ateno. Mvutano kuhusiana na hatua ya Jaji Mkuu David Maraga kumshauri rais kuvunjilia mbali bunge kushindwa kupitisha sheria ya usawa wa jinsia sasa unaelekea mahakamani. Hii baada ya spika wa bunge la kitaifa Justin Muturi kusema kuwa watawasilisha kesi mahakamani kutoka ushauri huo kutupiliwa mbali, akisema unakiuka katiba.
Tume ya huduma za bunge PSC ikiongozwa na spika wa bunge la kitaifa Justin Muturi ilifanya mkutano leo na kuamua kuwa watafika mahakamani kutibua ushauri wa kuvunjilia mbali bunge hilo.
And on the request of the speakers of the two houses of parliament, has resolved to engage counsel to immediately proceed to the High Court pursuant to Article 165 Clause 3 of the Constitution to challenge the unlawful and unconstitutional action taken by the Right Honorable Chief Justice.
Muturi anasema kuwa wapiga kura ndio waliwezesha uwepo wa bunge wengi wanaume kuliko wanawake bungeni na bunge halifai kulaumiwa kwa hilo. Aidha, PSC inashikilia kuwa Maraga alitoa uamuzi wake licha ya kuwa kuna kesi mbili kotini kuhusiana na swala hilo, lililohusu pia iwapo maagizo ya mahakama yaliyolenga bunge la 11 yanaweza kutumiwa kutia bunge la 12 hatiani.
It is therefore premature in our view for the Right Honorable Chief Justice to take this action while the High Court is here to determine that matter.
Wakili Bobby Mkangi ambaye alikuwa mmoja wa wataalamu waliounda katiba mpya ya Kenya anashikilia kuwa ushauri wa Maraga ni wa lazima kwa rais.
That's a direct command and the president really does not have discretion around whether to dissolve or not. I think the only leeway or gap that gives the president some level of discretion is the fact that no categorical period is indicated in the Constitution, and particularly that provision as to when he must take that action.
Kuvunjwa kwa bunge huenda kukalitumbukiza taifa katika mgogoro mkubwa wa kikatiba, hasa ikizingatiwa kuwa sheria ya uchaguzi inataka chaguzi zote kuanzia ya urais hadi ya madiwani kufanyika siku moja.
These extraordinary circumstances will have played out that the 12th parliament was extinguished before its expiry date. And so the new parliament that comes into play starts its duration from the time starts ticking when it comes into office. Now the law says it's only parliament that's going to be dissolved. And that's why there was separation of powers. That's why the presidency has its own constitutional calendar, in as much as the elections take place on the general election of the same day. But the election of governors, MCAs, and the president shall still be anticipated to take place during the general election in August 2022.
Kwa sasa hatma ya wabunge iko mikononi mwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta ambaye atafuata ushauri wa Maraga au Kwa sasa hatma ya wabunge iko mikononi mwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta ambaye atafuata ushauri wa Maraga au ataupuzilia mbali. Huku hilo likisubiriwa, wabunge, wanasheria na wananchi wa kawaida wanazidi kuchanganyikiwa. Vincent Oduor, NTV.
Bunge la kitaifa limejadili kwa kina hatua ya Jaji Mkuu David Maraga kumshauri kulivunja bunge kutokana na taasisi hiyo kushindwa kupitisha sheria ya usawa wa jinsia kama inavyotakiwa kikatiba. Wabunge wametofautiana kuhusu uamuzi huo, ingawa idadi kubwa wa wabunge inapinga hatua hiyo.
Whether we say what, this principle, Mr. Speaker, I want to say it here. However, even if Maraga was to succeed by persuading the president to dissolve parliament, you will dissolve this parliament 1,000 times if you don't address this issue through a referendum, through amendment to the constitution. You will, in fact, I dare say that if this parliament is dissolved, the next election will bring more men than it is today.
The question that we get asked as men, when we go promoting and saying we need more women in parliament, the first question that you are asked, even those who are there, what have they done? In terms of the constitutional changes, I believe there's a framework that's already in the air. through the Building Bridges initiative.
Parliament represents the will of the people. We sit here, we represent the will of the people. If you look at Article 94.1, it also confers the legislative authority on Parliament, and that authority is derived from the people. The people who woke up at 5, who voted for all of us. The resolution of Parliament, as contemplated in Article 261, subsection 7, could be to prematurely cut short the term of Parliament, thereby precipitating a general election. Mr. Speaker, we cannot create a constitution that gives free seat to one gender. We cannot.
Mbali na hayo mtazamaji, sasa tuangazie mustakabali wa wanafunzi, ambapo Wizara ya Elimu imeitaka Wizara ya Afya kuondoa wagonjwa wote wa corona na vifaa husika katika taasisi za elimu zilizokuwa zikitumika kama maeneo ya karantini ili kupisha maandalizi ya kurejelea masomo. Huko haya kijiri, TSC imetoa mwelekeo wa kufuatwa na walimu wakati wa maandalizi hayo ya ufunguzi wa shule. Leila Mohamed na taarifa kamili.
Siku moja baada ya wadau wa elimu kutangaza baadhi ya mikakati ya kufunguliwa kwa shule, ikiwa ni pamoja na walimu kutakiwa kufika shuleni wiki ijayo, chama chao cha NAT kimeunga mkono hatua hiyo.
Let us not politicize, and I think we've done too much. We've done too much. We've made news about reopening of schools, when, how. I think we've done too much. And as I've stated, children are safer in schools than at home. Even if we were ordered to report tomorrow, Wednesday, and children to come back on Thursday, that one we are ready. You can be very sure.
Lakini bado kuna baadhi ya wazazi ambao wameeleza hofu yao kuwarejesha wana wao shuleni, wakidai kuna changamoto kama vile karo na hela za matumizi.
Kwa vile wazazi saa hii hawana pesa, hawana chochote, waruhusiwe kupeleka watoto shule alafu walipe school fees baadaye. Kama ni secondary school, mtoto afanyiwe shopping, aende shule, aendelee, mtoto atakuwa, mama atakuwa analipa ama wazazi watakuwa analipa polepole kulingana na ile kiwango atapata. Manake saa hii hakuna mzazi akona kitu kwa mfuko. Saa hii hata chakula yenyewe hakuna. Hawana chochote. Kwa hivyo hakuna mtoto anahitajika kurudishwa nyumbani kama mzazi hana chochote.
The number of pregnancies that we witnessed during this period cannot be compared to any other time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all prepared. Forget about noises from elsewhere.
Chama cha walimu nchini NAT kinasisitiza kwamba kuna haja ya watoto kurejea darasani mara moja, kwani ni pale ambapo wataweza kupata mafunzo na vile kuweza kuhifadhiwa kutokana na maasi ambayo baadhi yao wamekumbana nayo katika miezi hii ambayo wamekuwa nyumbani.
Hii leo tume kuajiri walimu TSC imetoa maelezo zaidi kuhusu majukumu ya walimu kuanzia wiki ijayo, ambayo yatahusisha usafi wa shule, kupanga orodha ya masomo na jinsi ya kuendesha shughuli za masomo. Aidha, walimu watabuni njia bora za kufunza, wakizingatia wenzao ambao wana matatizo ya afya ambayo huenda yakaathiriwa na COVID-19.
For the first time, our teachers will do an extra job. The teaching environment will be different. We will be doing more caring than even teaching. So you can be very sure there is hard work awaiting our teachers. Bring the child to school and go home and leave the child with us. The rest we will be able to handle.
Huku serikali ikiendelea na mipango ya kufungua shule, chama cha walimu kinasisitiza kwamba hali ya afya ya kiakili ya watoto itakuwa swala la muhimu ambalo litaangaziwa na walimu. Wahudumu wa afya wanasema kwamba wanashirikiana na walimu kuwapa mafunzo muhimu kuhusu jinsi ya kukabiliana na jambo hilo, huku wakitoa takwimu za visa vya uhasama dhidi ya watoto katika muda wa miezi 6 zilizopita.
So the 1,145 cases of children received at the Gender Violence Recovery Center between March and August are just those who are treated at the Gender Violence Recovery Center where we work at the 9 hospitals. Yeah, and those are just the children only, who comprise of about 59.6% of the total cases that we've seen.
Walimu wanasema kwamba malalamishi ya wazazi ya kutokuwa tayari kurejesha wana wao shuleni hayana msingi.
Support the idea of our children being back to school because we witness and seen the dangers when they're out of school.
Leila Mohamed, NTV.
Wizara ya Afya inatarajiwa kuchapisha miongozo mipya itakayotumika katika mazishi ya waliofariki kutokana na homa ya COVID-19. Aidha, waombolezaji hasa wanafamilia watapewa kipaumbele katika mazishi, kinyume na ilivyokuwa miezi kadhaa iliyopita ambapo maziko yaliongozwa na maafisa wa Wizara ya Afya. Haya yanajiri baada ya wengi kunyimwa fursa ya kuwazika wapendwa wao kulingana na tamaduni na itikadi za jamii. Jioni na taarifa kamili.
Kwa kipindi cha miezi 7 sasa, mazishi yamekuwa yakiendeshwa kwa mujibu wa taratibu za kuzuia maambukizi ya virusi vya corona, hususan wakati wa mazishi yaliyofariki na COVID-19. Hata hivyo, miongozo imebadilika ili kuhakikisha kuwa jamii na familia ya wenda zao wanahusishwa pasi na kutengwa wakati wa mazishi.
Going forward, families and communities will now be able to play a greater role in the burial of their loved ones who succumbed to COVID-19. And in this regard, it will be no longer necessary for Ministry of Health teams to be dressed in full personal protective equipment to take over the burial ceremony, while the relatives, friends and families watch from a distance with limited participation.
Hata hivyo, tahadhari bado itazingatia wakati wa kupokea mwili na mazishi ya waliofariki kutokana na ugonjwa wa COVID-19.
So we still insist that those cultural beliefs where bodies have to be kissed, some are washing the bodies, those ones are still prohibited. You are still not allowed to wash that body. It could still be infective. And once the body is placed in that double bag and then placed in the casket.
Vile Wakenya wameomba kuendelea kuzingatia mikakati iliyowekwa kwa minajili ya kuzuia maambukizi ya corona, kama kuvaa vitambaa vya kufunika pua na domo na kuhakikisha kuwa nafasi kati ya wanaohudhuria mazishi inazingatiwa. Huku hayo yakijiri, idadi ya walioambukizwa COVID-19 nchini imefikia watu 37,218 baada ya watu 139 zaidi kuambukizwa homa ya corona leo. Aidha, watu 198 zaidi wamepona, kufanya idadi hiyo kufikia 24,147. Watu 9 wameaga dunia ndani ya saa 24 zilizopita hadi 959. Eunice Omolo, NTV, Nairobi.
Kamati ya Bunge ya Afya inaendelea kuchunguza tuhuma za ufujaji wa pesa za umma katika taasisi ya KEMSA. Kati ya masuala yenye utata ni taratibu zilizotumika wakati wa kutoa zabuni, na baada ya kampuni kadhaa kutuma maombi kwa KEMSA ikaondoa tangazo la nia kununua bidhaa. Kamati hiyo leo imekagua mabohari ya KEMSA na swali kuu linaloelekezwa ya taasisi hiyo ni vipi wasimamizi walinunua vifaa kinga kwa bei ya juu na kisha kutumia zaidi ya shilingi bilioni 7 bila kupata ridhaa ya Wizara ya Afya. Mwenyekiti wa kamati hiyo Sabina Shege amesema kamati yake itatoa ripoti wiki ijayo.
7.1 is a total amount spent by KEMSA with their own resources, not what was allocated by the ministry, where they projected that they would buy the items and sell. So they did procurement with their own resources. What they have been able to sell so far is items worth around 1 billion. That's why now the 6.1 billion is what is here and not sold. So part of the items that they bought, they already sold them out because people are still buying, even now.
Mtazamaji, taarifa hiyo inatupeleka mapumzikoni, lakini kabla hapo Alumasa anasema anatazama kutoka Biafra Isli, anasema mvutano kati ya Jaji Mkuu Maraga na wabunge Jioni wakimalizika karibuni. Si mara ya kwanza kushuhudiwa mvutano baina ya rais na wabunge au baina ya rais na idara ya mahakama. Tunakuwa na mapumzikoni, tutakaporejea taarifa zaidi, usiondoke.
The Aerial Guarantee.
Asante sana. Sasa, ni nini kingine ambacho unaweza kumfanyia msichana wetu?
Kila kitu. Hata kufua nguo na Aerial mpya.
Basi, tuonyeshe.
Hey, sasa fanya haya madoa yawe sugu zaidi. Sasa tufue kwa kutumia sabuni yako na kutumia Aerial mpya. Aerial sasa inapatikana kwenye pakiti mpya. Unaniamini sasa?
Aerial huondoa madoa sugu kwa mwosho mmoja. Ijaribu leo uamini.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys.
and love the little things even more. Like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted. And always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys.
Get fresh, gotta get fresh.
Downy's new boom boom pow, Downy boom boom pow. Smells fire na uchafuzi na zidi na improve Downy. Protect nguo zangu na nukia niko safi. Lazima niwe fresh na Downy's boom boom pow. Boom boom pow, Downy's new boom boom pow. Smells zote na zi boom boom pow. Powerful freshness, Downy's boom boom pow.
Do more to protect yourself and family from viruses that remain on the clothes. Separate laundry that has been exposed and do not shake to minimize the possibility of dispersing the virus through the air. Soaking your laundry in water and hand washing powder does more to kill germs than just a normal wash. After washing, dry your clothes in direct sunlight.
They say we do the expected. We say we're more than you expect. Sunlight, more than you expect.
Mkate kweli ni selecta. Ukikula kwanza na kachai. Tunasema mkate gani tamu zaidi, wenye afya tele tena tosaidi. Bei yake bado ni ile ile nafuu, na unapatikana karibu na wewe. Selecta. Mkate ni Selecta. And now, Selecta comes with free Zesta jam for a limited period of time.
Let's go. Okay. Feel it all through my body. Feel it down to my feet. I take it in my hands and clap it to the beat. The speed is in control. Don't look, just check your pulse.
Karibu mtazamaji katika awamu ya pili ya NTV Jioni. Wanandoa wawili ambao ni washukiwa mauaji wa mwana wao hii leo waliwapeleka maafisa wa polisi katika kaburi la mtoto huyo, ambapo polisi walifukua mwili wa marehemu utakaotumiwa kama ushahidi kwenye kesi hiyo. Kulingana na polisi, wanandoa hao walimuua mwana wao kwa sababu alikuwa mlemavu na kumzika katika msitu wa Singalo katika eneo la Burnt Forest, kaunti ya Uasin Gishu. Lois Ongoi na taarifa kamili.
Umati mkubwa ulifika katika sehemu hii ya msitu wa Singalo, eneo la Burnt Forest, kisa na maana kushuhudia uchunguzi wa polisi dhidi ya wanandoa wawili wanaokabiliwa na mashtaka ya kumuua mwana wao msichana Victorine Chelagat aliyekuwa mlemavu. Kulingana na chifu wa hapa, majirani walipiga ripoti kwa afisi yake pale walipokosa kumwona mtoto huyo nyumbani kwao.
Nilipofika ofisini nikawauliza mtoto yuko wapi. Nilipouliza mtoto yuko wapi, wakanieleza kwamba huyo mtoto alikuja kuchukuliwa na dadake. Basi ikanichukua muda kutafuta namba.
Chifu huyo alifanya kila jitihada kupata nambari hiyo, na alipopiga simu alithibitisha kwamba mtoto huyo hakuwa kwa jamaa zao. Hapo aliendelea kuwahoji wanandoa hao kuhusu alikokuwa mwana wao, na hatimaye mamake mtoto alikiri kwamba
basi akatueleza walimuua na wakaja wakamzika ndani ya forest ambayo ni Singalo.
Polisi walikuwa na kibarua kigumu cha kuwalinda washukiwa dhidi ya wananchi waliokuwa na ghadhabu wakati wakionyesha polisi eneo walilozika mwili wa mwana wao.
Kulingana na vile niliongea na wao, waliona kuwa huyu mtoto aliyezaliwa ni kikwazo kwa ndoa yao, kwa sababu wameanza uhusiano huu hivi majuzi. Wakaona huyu mtoto mlemavu ni kikwazo kwa ndoa yao.
Wanandoa hawa wataendelea kuzuiliwa na polisi hadi tarehe 28 mwezi huu, ambapo kesi hiyo ya mauaji itatajwa. Lois Wangoi, NTV, katika kaunti ya Uasin Gishu.
Kwingineko ni kuwa wakazi wa eneo la Kapkoi, kaunti hiyo ya Uasin Gishu wanalalamikia ongezeko la visa vya wajane kukandamizwa na chifu wa eneo hilo. Na kama mwandishi wetu Gabriel Kudaka anavyoripoti, wanataka afisa huyo utawala kuchukuliwa hatua, la sivyo chukue sheria mikononi mwao.
Christine Soimo alipoteza mmewe miaka 8 iliyopita na amekuwa akijishughulisha na vibarua ili kujikimu kimaisha.
Amenisumbua miaka zote.
Anadai naibu wa chifu Samuel Koech amekuwa akilazimisha uhusiano wa kimapenzi naye ili aweze kurithi mali iliyobaki baada ya mmewe kuaga.
Amesumbua wajane. Bona tuwasikie wewe ni mjane anakuja kwako kila siku. Akaniambia tuingie hapa hivi. Kuingia hapo akanishikashika huku.
Alitaka kunyemelea mama yangu, sijui sasa kwa ubaya gani. Na mimi nikifikiria alitaka kulishana na mama yangu ndio akuwe na uwezo ya kuja kutawala hii nyumba.
Nicholas Kibiwot anadai kutoroka kwao na kutafuta makao mbadala baada ya afisa huyo wa utawala kukita kambi kwao kwa lazima.
Hata mimi nikasema kama mwanaume nikasema kuliko niwe mtu ya mtu ili niende kwa nyumba nyingine.
Baadhi ya walioathirika wameripoti masaibu yao kwa wanaharakati wa haki za kibinadamu pamoja na kwa viongozi wa serikali.
On the issue ya chief imekuwa ni maswala, and we are now appealing to the DCC upande wa Kesesa County na County Commissioner wa Uasin Gishu angalia what is the problem with this chief.
Naibu kamishna wa kaunti ndogo ya Kesesa ameahidi kufuatilia swala hilo ili kupata suluhu mwafaka.
Nimeshapata delegation ya watu hapa mara 3 wakilalamika kuhusu utendaji kazi wa assistant chief.
Na sasa wameapa kuchukua sheria mikononi mwao iwapo hatua mwafaka haitachukuliwa dhidi yake.
Na nilishuhudia akipiga hii mama mbele ya watoto yake mpaka kumchukua nguo juu.
Kama watolewi mtu wache raia si tutoe yeye.
Gabriel Kudaka, NTV.
Bila shaka taarifa yake Gabriel Kudaka inatupeleka mapumzikoni mtazamaji. Tutakaporejea nitakuwa nampisha mwanaspoti Yoshua Makori.
Safaricom iko na 500 MB free kila siku.
Get 500 MB free kila siku and never miss a moment. Dial *544# to activate your offer. Browse Pilawas on Kenya's best network.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more. Like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola, taste the simple joys.
So vile nasema, wacha nikubatie statistics. Niko na gamia 1500. Tunakuwa drapo gamia na kuwa 6000. 2000 natengeneza leather, natengeneza viatu, wallet, kibeti, nauza hapa, na batia wewe 50%. Wacha niweke credit nikupigie.
Namna gani wewe? Hii mambo ya kuishiwa na credit kila saa. Come on. Nunua hiyo simu ya Vodafone. Calling fiber to fiber is 0 shillings per minute. And it is not expensive. Only 2,999 Kenya shillings.
Alo hali wa. Hata fadhali hiyo credit ikae ninunue simu basi.
Faibika leo na Vodafone for only 2,999 Kenya shillings. It will always be free to call fiber to fiber.
Hello? Dude, United on fire. United? Rashford is unstoppable. Tell me you have DSTV, Eddie. Do you know that I get more than 20 live matches on any given week? From the best leagues in the world. La Liga, Serie A, the Champions League, the Premier League. Oh, what about that? Do you have Premier League?
No, we don't have that.
Eddie, if you're going to spend your money, spend it on the best football in the world.
Dial *423# to buy a DSTV HD decoder for only 1,999 shillings.
Help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. Panadol Extra, now with new Optizorb technology to fight multiple tough pains with 3 times more pain-relieving medicine in the first 30 minutes when you need it most. Seeing them support themselves makes any pain worth it.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Karatina University wishes to announce to all new and continuing students that lectures of the first semester of the 2020-2021 academic year are ongoing. New students' university joining instructions and details on creation of e-learning account for all students are on the university website. Payment of requisite fees is a requirement. For more information, visit our website on www.karu.ac.ke or contact us on the details on your screen. Karatina University, inspiring innovation and leadership.
For more than 10 years now, One Acre Fund has worked with farmers across Kenya to give them access to quality seeds, fertilizer, and farming inputs through affordable financing options. To find out how you too can join the One Acre Fund program, dial *689#. One Acre Fund. Mkulima Kwanza.
Looking really good.
Mida ya kudunda sasa haraka upesi viwanjani ni Joshua Makori. Orodha ya wanariadha ambao watashiriki raundi ya Nairobi ya Kipkeino Classic ya riadha ya mabara uwanjani Nyayo tarehe 3 mwezi ujao imetolewa. Bingwa dunia na Olimpiki Conseslus Kipruto ataongoza miongoni mwao Kibiwot Abraham kuwinda medali katika mbio za mita 3000 kuruka viunzi na maji. Aliyekuwa bingwa dunia Jioni atakuwa kinara wa mbio za mita 800 kwa kinadada, huku mshindi wa medali ya shaba duniani Ferguson Rotich akiongoza kikosi cha wanaume. Bingwa dunia Helen Obiri atawaongoza wenzake katika mita 5000, wakati bingwa dunia Timothy Cheruyot akiwinda dhahabu katika mita 1500. Na aliyekuwa bingwa dunia Julius Yego atarusha mkuki ugani Nyayo. Makala ya pili ya mbio za kilomita 12 za Mlima Kenya yameorodheshwa katika kalenda ya kitaifa na ya kimataifa kwa mujibu wa shirikisho la riadha nchini AK. Makala yajayo yamepangwa kufanyika Februari tarehe 2 mwaka ujao. Mabingwa tetezi ni Emmanuel Bor na Purity Gitonga.
So we are meeting today to review that event and also to plan how we are going to continue the mountain running championship for February next year.
Athletics Kenya has hereby confirmed that they have now officially put mountain running in Meru County in the official calendar of next year 2021, February on 20th. And that one will be in our local and international calendar.
Naibu Rais William Ruto amesema wanamichezo wote wanaoiletea Kenya fahari wanafaa kulipwa hela sawa, wawe walemavu au wazima wa kiwiliwili.
Kila mwanaspoti wanaposhiriki katika michezo ya kimataifa, wakipata ushindi, kuna vile serikali ya Kenya itawashughulikia. Na tumesema for those who get gold, they will be paid 1 million shillings. For those who get silver, they will get 500,000. And those who get bronze, they will get 250,000. Na hatutaki kuwe na ubaguzi. Na hata watu wanaoishi na ulemavu are not an exception. They are sportsmen, they are sportswomen, they are sports people, and they deserve equal treatment.
Miamba wa Kenya Gor Mahia wameanza maandalizi kabambe ya kushiriki dimba la klabu bingwa barani Afrika CAF sambamba na ligi kuu ya kandanda humu nchini msimu ujao wa mwaka 2020-2021. Kogalo inalewayo na Steve Pollak itaiwakilisha Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa mara ya 4 mfululizo katika kipute cha klabu bingwa Afrika. Gor imeendelea kukisuka upya kikosi chake baada ya kumsajili mshambulizi Jules Ulimwengu, raia wa Burundi. Nyota huyo mwenye umri wa miaka 21 ametia saini kandarasi ya miaka 2 ijayo. Ujio wa Ulimwengu umefikisha 3 idadi ya wachezaji wa ughaibuni walionaswa na Gor Mahia. Wengine 2 ni kiungo wa Cameroon Bertrand Confor na mshambuliaji wa Uganda Tito Okello. Katika himaya ya kimataifa ni kwamba waliokuwa mabingwa ligi kuu ya Uingereza Manchester City walianza kampeni ya kuwinda ubingwa wa msimu huu kwa kuinyuka Wolverhampton Wanderers mabao 3-1 ugenini Molinu jana usiku. Kevin De Bruyne aliweka City uongozini kunako dakika 20 kupitia mkwaju wa penalty. Phil Foden alitia kimiani bao la pili dakika 32. Raul Jimenez alikombolea Wolverhampton bao moja.
Mati ya taarifa za NTV jioni, mimi ni Kaltun. Jama mkalimani wetu wa lugha ishara alikuwa ni Flora Tieno. Asante pia kwa wale wote wamefanikisha taarifa hizi za NTV jioni. Alamsiki.
This is NTV.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
I'm really glad that throughout this period of COVID, we are seeing great innovations that have come out of this country, which is really key and growing in this sector, which has been affected. They now have actually begun to innovate. They've started new films that are now being shown in different car parks where you can drive in and actually be able to experience and enjoy movies.
So, 25th September 2020, the Commission will be hosting a premiere of a local film, Uradi, which will take place at the Galleria Mall drive-in. Turn out in large numbers and let's watch and support local content.
As a country, we are actually taking these steps to move us forward.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
Shushu, wamesema hakuna harusi.
Kwa nini? Hapana,
Shushu.
haiwezekani. Mamisa harusi lazima itaendelea. Nani anasababisha harusi? Covid. Sababu ya Covid. Covid.
Nasema Safaricom iko na 500 MB free kila siku. Sasa tunaweza kustream hii wedo.
Hi Shushu.
You make is the bribes.
Get 500 MB free kila siku and never miss a moment. Dial *544# to activate your offer. Browse bila was on Kenya's best network.
Oya ni aje? Mimi ndo Jonte Fresh. Mimi ndio nimetambulika hii Gikomba yote sekta ya manguo. Jumio transform nguo ordinary za mtush zenye ziuka mna hii harufu ya bail into the freshest igikosi yote. Siri ni hii Ariel mpya ya pink. Na kushow mtushi zinang'ara kung'ara kushinda kamera. So clean, so fresh. Ma customer unaisana na hii story. Ninatumia Ariel touch of down mpya tu.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more. Like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys.
Can't stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could
Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys.
Jisot Nabonga is back and it's big. What's your style? Whether it's a phone with a great camera, a phone with all the latest apps, or just a phone with the right price to fit your pocket, we've got you. Jisot Nabonga Style Yako by redeeming your Bonga points for affordable smartphones at unbeatable prices at Safaricom shops and dealers countrywide or on masoko.com. Just dial *126#, check your points balance and go shopping.
This is NTV.
Welcome to this edition of Business Redefined, your weekly most comprehensive look at the world of business and economics. And every so often we are focusing on companies. And tonight we are placing the spotlight on Kenya Reinsurance Corporation. And with me, I have the pleasure of hosting the Managing Director, Mr. Jama. Welcome on set.
Thank you very much.
Just to kick off by having a look at the last 6 months, I looked at your half-year numbers, what looked to be like extremely resilient performance. Net earnings are up 46%, gross premiums are up. When I look at it, within the COVID-19 environment, how would you characterize the last 6 months?
Very tough environment in terms of the general operating environment, because like you say, yes, COVID came in up to after March. So first quarter was not quite affected, but in the second quarter we saw quite a bit of impact. And this impact is in terms of increasing or expected increase in claims, as well as a depressed pressure on the growth of the premiums. But having said that, we saw a very good half-year performance. We actually achieved up to 9 billion in terms of investment, in terms of gross written premiums. We also got 1.9 billion in terms of investment income, and at the bottom, in terms of profit, we achieved out to 52%. We think it is very good performance, given the kind of performance we've seen from businesses across various industries. We are really focused on trying to replicate what we achieved in the first quarter during the second quarter, so that we achieve on overall what our strategic objectives were in terms of income and performance generally for this year.
All right. Speaking about investment income, which I noticed was 200 basis points down year on year,
yeah.
And looking at the portfolio mix for Kenya Re,
yeah.
One of the key items I would have as a concern is we are largely on government securities and properties. And looking at the two, when I look at the yield curve, it's coming down. Properties are a bit sluggish. What's the outlook for your investment income going forward?
For the year, we had a strategic objective of achieving up to 3 billion in terms of investment income. And we think we are going to achieve it, or if there's a variation, not more than 5%. The environment, like I said, has been tough. The stock market has been very bearish, we all know. The economy has been performing not as it should have. On the rental aspect that you touch on, yes, we are landlords in terms of owning 3 commercial buildings in Nairobi and 1 in Kisumu. We are seeing a lot of pressure, especially on the small businesses in terms of paying rent. A lot of them asking for a rebate in the rent or some holding back so that they can pay later. And therefore, there's an impact there. Fortunately for us, that is actually the minority, because the majority of our tenants are government and big clients. They are able to pay. That actually amounts to over 60%. And there's another medium category, medium-sized small and medium enterprises, which are also not so much affected. But the small individual kind of leaseholds is where the impact is. Fortunately, it's only up to about 24% of the overall lease book for us. And we think the impact will not be so significant. So on overall, in terms of investment income, looking at the stock market, looking at government securities, where about 53% of our investment is in, provides some kind of stability. So in terms of valuation, we are looking at most an impact of about 5%, so that instead of probably achieving the 3 or so billion, we may end up with 2.8, 2.9 billion.
When you look at Kenya Re from a retrocession arrangement standpoint, that is in terms of what it seeds out vis-a-vis what it gets in, Do you feel you're in a comfortable position?
If you look at our retrocession rate, it has been somewhere between 5 to 7%. It's very comfortable. We think actually the rule of thumb, so to speak, is about 10%. You should sit out about 10% of your premiums into retrocession. We have over the years been able to negotiate a very competitive retrocession program. Of course, it is increasingly becoming more difficult as more players, the reinsurers also understand the market. But so far, I would say that we've been, actually, if you compare ourselves with our peers, we are probably paying less than they do.
Kenya Re has, of course, made it public that it is seeking extension of the regulation which requires local insurance to cede at least 20%, I think, of their business with the Reinsurance Corporation. How far are we with this? And I hear as well you're looking to bump it up as well.
We've always said that as a business we want to operate commercially. That we've structured the business, we've put in place and looked at every fundamental that makes the business run like any other private entity. We do not focus on getting compulsory cessions or mandatory cessions as the basis of the engine which drives the business. And that is what our focus is. The prerogative of renewing or not renewing the mandatory cessions belongs to the government. We have expressed our interests and left it up to the government. But really our focus is on commercial operations of the company, bearing in mind that we are operating in a private sector market. Our competitors are private sector. The only point we make is that Kenya Re is not in any way special in receiving mandatory cessions. It is a model of business which we see across Africa and beyond. There are other players in this market, two of them will get compulsory cessions. In fact, not only in Kenya, one in the Comesa area and one in the entire African continent. The new reinsurance companies, national insurance companies being set up in various countries, Uganda, for example, Tanzania, Ethiopia, they are all getting compulsory cessions. Even beyond Africa, in places like Nepal, they set up Nepal Re, compulsory cessions. In Pakistan, they set up Pak Re, compulsory cessions. So what we say is that actually the compulsory cessions is a model of business, which was established long ago, I think when most countries in Africa were attaining independence. And the objective was really to retain premiums, which still is valid, retain premiums within the national boundaries of a country so that you don't have too much of it flowing out. So we expect the government to make up their decision, but we must also bear in mind that really what mandatory cessions constitute for the corporation is just about 30–35% of the overall book. So we put in our own effort to generate 65%, and we are focusing on even growing that 65%.
Okay. Going back to the COVID conversation, and curious to understand, has COVID in any way impacted the degree to which you price risk within this market?
It should, going forward. Right now it may not have, because you see from March up to now, not so much has happened, especially because we have the regulator who said policies should not be changed, don't exclude risks which were covered before. You may include, but COVID also produced an opportunity. It has produced the opportunity of companies or the market generally seeing that there's a gap which is not covered, and which is also an opportunity, becomes an opportunity for coverage. You see, what has happened is that most insurance companies did not exclude COVID as part, within the coverages of the policies they give. But they also did not cover themselves in their treaties with the insurance companies for the coverage they're giving. So there's a gap in there, and that is what has produced the challenge or some of the debate you may have had in the market between reinsurers probably and the insurance companies. And going forward, of course, that needs to be resolved, and that implies that the products needs to be adjusted. COVID can be covered. Of course, it has to be priced properly. And like they say in insurance, you can cover any insurance product as long as it is properly priced. So whereas we may not have aggressively so far priced it in, going forward I can only see it coming in.
Looking back at your half-year numbers and the growth in premiums, which I think gross was up about 2.4%, how did you assess this? Rebound, or how do you feel about it?
We feel it could have been higher were it not for COVID. We also know that the environment generally in most of the countries across Africa, if you look at the penetration of insurance, if you look at the GDP growth rates in those countries, if you look at the uptake of insurance generally, penetration, for example, below 3% in most countries, actually many of them below 2%, it was not the kind of growth we would have expected. We pushed for more, and we are still pushing for more, but at least it was growth. We know a lot of our competitors and main businesses which actually things went down other than going up. So we are happy about it, but we are not complacent about it. We actually are focusing on achieving a higher growth rate than that come the end of the year.
When I look at the Kenya Re business footprint, and I always look for the diversification value proposition. I know there have been plans for a venture into Egypt. How are we looking from this standpoint?
Kenya Re's business portfolio is actually already very diversified because we in over 265 insurance companies in more than almost 70 countries. Africa is our market. We have business literally in every country across Africa. We've got business in Middle East, we've got business in Asia. And this business is also diversified because we're talking about treaty business and facultative business. It is also diversified in terms of the classes of business. We have the property classes, engineering, CR, life business. We've got, of course, the accident classes, all of them. So diversification is there. Maybe what you're referring to is attempts to set up regional offices. So far, we have 4. We set up 10 years ago. We set up Côte d'Ivoire as a subsidiary. It actually started as a liaison office or a branch, as they call it in the Francophone, and then it became eventually into a subsidiary. Then we set up Zambia back in 2015, and the latest Uganda here in last year, December. So there are actually 3. So what we've always said is that that's not the end of it. We need to continue setting up regional hubs. The objective is to give quality service to seeding companies or clients in those markets, because it's very difficult to serve from North Africa to South Africa, West Africa to East Africa from this one Nairobi place. So the thoughts are there. And we are thinking now, having covered West Africa, South Africa, and East Africa is covered from Nairobi and Uganda now, then the rest of the next region which appears not to have a subsidiary near it is in North Africa. And that is Egypt or Sudan. And the other uniqueness of those markets is they are Muslim. The population, a lot of the population is Muslim. Yeah. So Takafu and Ritakafu seems to have taken ground quite a bit. So thinking about Ritakafu, one then would say maybe Sudan, Egypt is what is in our minds.
All right. Right, and that point by Mr. J.D. Morani takes us to a short break. We'll be right back with a lot more on this conversation on Business Redefined.
Safaricom iko na 500 MB free kila siku.
Get 500 MB free kila siku and never miss a moment. Dial *544# to activate your offer. Browse Pilawas on Kenya's best network.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys.
I have to admit, I didn't like Sukuma Wiki when I was growing up, but now I've created a way to make Sukuma Wiki tastier and meatier. I simply add 2 Royco beef cubes, and the end result is a rich, meaty flavor. And today, I have brought along my harshest food critics for a taste test. My kids.
More, please!
Royco beef cubes. Add 2 small cubes for a big, meaty taste.
the event that you would like to verify the genuineness of the certificates, what you need to do is to dial *352 hash. You can also download the Aki app onto your phone. If by any chance you happen to sell your motor vehicle, it will be important that you contact your insurance company for cancellation of the certificate that you're holding.
Sky is a sisterhood of teen girls from across Kenya. We are all about being true to ourselves and what we believe in. From fashion and music to school and our friends, we celebrate the things we love and support each other in the sisterhood. You can be a Sky Girl too. Just go to skygirlske.com and take the pledge. Follow up on Instagram and Facebook at skygirlske.
Do more to protect yourself and family from viruses that remain on the clothes. Separate laundry that has been exposed and do not shake to minimize the possibility of dispersing the virus through the air. Soaking your laundry in water and hand washing powder does more to kill germs than just a normal wash. After washing, dry your clothes in direct sunlight.
They say we do the expected. We say we're more than you expect. Sunlight, more than you expect.
Hey guys, so I'm about to head out to meet the girls. As you know, this is the outfit of the day. We're about to go out and we're going to meet the girls.
Boy! Leta pale. Simama pale. Leo umenifanya niamini mtu anaweza mea ndevu kwa magoti.
Hi everyone. Welcome to the ITEL online launch. My name is MC Jesse.
And we'd like to tell you more about the ITEL brand. New ITEL.
S16 series, 6.3 dot notch screen, AI selfie 2.0, gallery door, 2GB data bundle.
ITEL TV, the earbuds, IMP 11 super slim power bank, the extension strip.
Let's join ITEL to enjoy a better life.
It's time to kickstart your smart and give your brain a mega boost with DSTV. There's oodles of mind-blowing channels for kids young all together now. To get your knowledge workout, get connected to DSTV.
Welcome back to Business Redefined. Tonight we are shedding the spotlight on Kenya Reinsurance Corporation, which is marking 50 years, I should mention. And on set, I'm privileged to have the Managing Director, Mr. Jama. Welcome back on set.
Thank you very much.
Looking at Kenya Re's numbers, and I'm always curious to understand how you look at this. When you look at your assets and your liabilities, especially the longevity of it, short-term, long-term, did you feel the match is optimal?
I would say it is very good because if you, normally when they talk about the asset liability matching, you look at the liquidity and you also look at the liabilities. You look at the difference, which is actually the gap. And then you look at the benchmarks that you've set for yourself, normally in a policy, which is a case for Kenya Re. So when you look at the liquidity asset duration, it's about 2.6. When you look at the liabilities duration, is about 1.75. That gives you a gap of about 0.8. Now in our policy, we have a policy, AML policy, we've set up to a maximum ceiling of 2.5%, 2.5, sorry. So you see there's a lot of headroom in our own understanding against our policy from 0.8 all the way to 2.5. So we think we are comfortable with it, but we are never really, you know, there's no resting spot. Much as you've achieved the policy position, actually exceeded the policy position, you still want to move on. So our focus in terms of investments is going forward is to concentrate more on the short term and medium term.
Still on the nature of your business, I remember a while back we had a conversation. One of the concerns in the market was that the company is heavily reliant on a few brokers, so there's a bit of concentration risk. How has this evolved over time?
It is a case not for Kenya Re, but for the market. You see, if you look at most African markets, actually they are broker driven. So to the extent that a lot of insurance companies place their business through brokers, that aspect becomes a nature, an aspect or a characteristic of the market. So it is true, yes, the brokers control quite a bit of business that they give the entire market, and that applies to Kenya Re. And that is a broker concentration. The other aspect of it, you see that there are few key brokers in most markets which dominate the other brokers. In Kenya, you may talk of 2 or 3. So again, to the extent that you have to deal with those brokers, the aspect of concentration through the brokers come in. Now, we are not worried about broker concentration so much for the reason that much as the business comes in through the brokers, you also have a relationship with the seeding companies who are placing through that broker. So we keep our good relations between the broker as well as the seeding company. But yes, it is true, if you are to take how much business is coming from direct and how much is coming through the brokers, for the head office here, then you'd say coming from the brokers is quite a substantial, actually up to 70% would come through the brokers.
I spoke to a couple of insurers, and one of the concerns they raised to me is that, ahead of this interview, of course, is that they're worried about reinsurers because their argument is they are undercutting them by accepting to reinsure risks which have not been properly priced in the market. What would be your response to this?
Ask yourself, who does the undercutting? Yeah. It's mostly not the reinsurance, because the pricing of the risks is largely done in the primary market. And we understand the competitive pressures which are there. We understand sometimes, you know, the need or the pressure from insureds trying to place business in a bouquet and putting pressure on some price reduction, but which is actually what we even go training about. Our view is really we should apply technical. The techniques are there, the pricing methods are there, the knowledge of what price is right is there. So our view has always been, let us apply this. It is what will make the capital of cost be preserved, is what will make the business grow, and is what, in the fullness of time, in the long term, which is sustainable. Now, if you don't do that, the options are almost obvious, because if you are not if you are undercutting, it means you're eating into your capital, and if you continue eating your capital, of course,
it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. Yeah. So we don't support it. We actually campaign a lot against it, and we still, as reinsurers and as Kenya Re, we would still like to send the same message to the market. Let us apply technical underwriting. Let's do proper pricing of risks. The reason why the pricing methods are there is to be applied on risk, because no two risks are the same.
Still going back to the subject of shocks, of course, we discussed COVID-19 earlier. And being in the reinsurance business, one of the key questions that have been asked out here is, when you look at the agricultural side of business,
yes,
how has something like the locust invasion impacted your business?
Not too much, I would say, at the moment, for 2 reasons. One is that a lot of crops in Kenya are probably not being insured, the ones that have been affected by locust. And the bulk of what is actually insured, especially horticulture and the mechanized kind of farms, may probably not have been directly in the path of the locust. And I think also the efforts of government in trying to control it have kind of reduced the damage. We've had explanations that, fortunately for the country, which is the second reason really, is that the locust seems to have been more on the natural vegetation than the crops in the farms. But I think the key reason why we've not been directly hit so hard is because much of what may have been damaged was actually not insured. So it ends up being economic losses, not insured losses.
And as we wrap up, Mr. Morania, there's the view, I don't know whether it's true or not, that of course uptake of insurance in this market is pretty slow. Many of people out here look at it as more of a luxury or discretionary spending, I should say. What would be your challenge to the masses out there?
Our challenge is, there are 2 reasons. One would have to ask themselves, why is the uptake of insurance low? And we must start by saying, while as it is low in Kenya at about 2.4, it has gone up to a high of 3.5, but now last year it came down to 2.4. It is still higher than most African countries, which now would be somewhere between 1.5 and 2%. Now the reasons of this low uptake are 2, in my opinion. One is the issue about awareness, that people have not really fully appreciated the need or the importance of insurance as you would compare with Europe or in America and Australia. So one doesn't really see, even when they can afford, they may not see why they should get the insurance. And if you look at the compulsory classes of business, especially motor, workmen compensation, that's where the uptake is very high. If you look at life insurance, which is not compulsory, and the other classes of property, which is not the uptake is lower. So I think the message to the public would be that there is need for insurance. Awareness is something us as insurance professionals and players really need to create to the public. It is in your interest that you take insurance because it comes in handy. For example, when your house is bungled, is when you realize, when your electronics and things have been stolen, is when you realize you could probably have insured them. And ask yourself, what is the cost of replacing all those electronics and whatever is stolen from the house compared to the premium? Because the premium is normally a very small percentage of the insured portfolio, or the total sum insured, as we call it. So awareness is one thing that us as players in the market need to create, and our appeal to the public is please realize that there is value in insuring yourself. The premium is a very small proportion of the sums insured. Okay. Now the other reason is affordability. And this is where we've seen we support the government efforts of poverty reduction. Even if you understand and you're aware about the importance of insurance, you'll not be able to take it unless you can afford it. And what we've seen in most households is that when there's pressure on income and certain expenditure lines have to be removed from the household, insurance seems to be struck out quite fast. So again, efforts of government and other entities in the economy to raise personal incomes of citizens is very direct in terms of assisting people to purchase insurance.
Having covered Kenya Re for a number of years, would you say now we are at a turning point? Of course, we do appreciate, for example, last year, we remember there was a profit warning. First half numbers look pretty good. Would you say we have taken the inflection?
Yes, I would say so, because if you looked at the year, actually across even the last 10 years or so, Kenya Re has been on a growth path, continuous, whether you're talking about the gross premiums or the investment income or the premiums at the bottom. The profit warning was, I would say, a one-off, completely a one-off. If you look at 2019, in terms of profitability, we are 3.9 billion. That's close to 4 billion. And then also, if you look at what we've achieved at half year, 1.9 billion, that's almost 2 billion for half year. If we manage to replicate that in the second half, you're talking about 4 billion. I think it's a very profitable enterprise.
Mr. J.J. Marane, thank you so much for your time.
Most welcome.
And that takes us to the close of our conversation on Business Redefined. Tonight we have been focusing on the subject of the Kenya Reinsurance Corporation. Up next is the Markets Review.
Markets Review, proudly brought to you by Business Daily. More possibilities.
And look at how the capital markets closed the day. The NSE 20 share index closing at 1839.96. That's down 37.8% since the year started, and compared to yesterday, down by 0.5%. Crossing over to the forex market to look at how the shilling behaved vis-a-vis other currencies. Against the USD, it gained to close at 108.36. Against the sterling pound at 139.37, up 0.76%. And against the euro, 127.79, up 0.46%. Clearly a good day for the shilling.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
When you buy a bar of Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate, you can help change the story. That's because we will use part of the proceeds to donate milk to less fortunate children across our beautiful country. Let us come together and show the generous spirit that is inside of all of us. Cadbury Dairy Milk. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys.
Do your gums hurt?
Yeah.
Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile?
All that in one toothpaste?
Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums.
Ah, Colgate Herbal.
Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Best quality KEBS certified steel. TMT steel bars. Produced from the most modern machines and technology, reliable and with the highest strength, suitable for all types of construction. That is, high-rise buildings, bridges, houses, and roads.
Look for the Devki mark on a wider selling reinforcement, twisted, and TMT rebars, which are KBS certified and have the diamond mark of quality. Devki Steel, Kenya's most trusted steel company.
How many times do I have to tell you not to just come into my house anytime you feel like?
Akizia kama kanakuaga na kelele yake.
Tangu nianze kutumia Pika cooking oil, hata kabla sijaandaa chakula, kila mtu ataka kuonja. Nikuongeze zingine?